A colossal energy beast is lurking in the shadows, ready to tear you apart. Even worse, the terrifying old man standing next to you has his hand on his blade, giving you exactly 3 seconds to explain who you are before he deletes you from existence. This is Zeon's new reality, where his legendary mentor is far more dangerous than the monsters they are hunting. But to understand how a weak kid hiding on a prison bus ended up in this volcanic hellscape, we have to go back to the very beginning. Starting things off with a mood. Our main character's life is garbage, and he is literally buried in it right now. Meet Zeon. He's choking on sand and thinking about how easy the rich and powerful have it. Talk about a rough start. The whole world is basically one giant, miserable beach. A massive sandstorm just swallowed a bus hole like it was nothing. The Sand Mage of the Desert of Death. Okay, that's a sick title. We are in for a gritty, post-apocalyptic ride. Flashback time. 100 years ago, a massive beam of light decided to ruin Earth's day. And that light was not just for show, it started devouring every living thing on the planet. Talk about a hard reset. Fast forward, and Earth is less a blue marble and more a giant potato. Welcome to the new desert world. The survivors did what humans do best and built massive fortresses to hide from the sun and the sand. We find Zeon on a transport bus, wondering why only the bugs like him managed to survive in this dump. And just like that, the seat right next to him gets absolutely demolished. Looks like trouble is here. This shady dude with literal fangs pops up with a classic excuse that his hand slipped. Yeah, right, buddy. He is towering over Zeon, trying to act all polite while being a total menace, asking for a name to apologize to. Zeon does not even blink. He just gives his name, Zeon. Short, sweet, and zero fear detected. The big guy and his goons start laughing because Zeon only has one name, making jokes about him having multiple dads. Stay classy, fellas. Zeon is clearly not having it. Those eyes say he is one bad comment away from snapping. The thug tries to play it off like they are all buddies, but he still has that I am the boss grip on Zeon's shoulder. Quick PSA from the narrator, everyone on this bus is a criminal or a fugitive, not exactly a friendly crowd. And there it is. The thug stops talking and just delivers a brutal head strike to Zeon. A total cheap shot. Zeon goes flying into the seats. This guy really thinks he is the main character of this bus, does not he? But Zeon gets right back up, wiping his face. He tells the guy he is wrong about his crime. Oh, we got a secret? It is murder. The look on his face says he is not lying. Things just got way more interesting. Flashback to Neo's soul, where the strong rule and the weak are just scenery. It is a total cyberpunk nightmare. Turns out, Zeon was not always a victim. We see him in a dark alley standing over someone he just took out. And the guy he removed was a pet rat for some big shot named Lee Jir-young. Big mistake, kid. Just mentioning that name has Zeon sweating. Whoever Lee Jir-young is, he is clearly a big deal in this world. We get a glimpse of the gods of this world, the Awakeners. This guy looks like he drinks lightning for breakfast. Zeon realized too late that he had messed with a god. No wonder he is hiding out on a bus to the mines. The word got out fast, and Zeon had to crawl into the first bus out of town just to stay alive. Back in reality, the thug is still running his mouth. He barely gets a word out before Zeon interrupts. Wait, what? A sudden spray of blood hits the window. Did Zeon actually land a hit? Nope, the thug is just wiping his own face and looking even more unhinged. He asks if Zeon is done. He grabs Zeon's face with one hand. The power difference here is actually scary. Zeon looks like a toy in his grip. The thug tosses him across the bus like he is taking out the trash. Man, Zeon is taking a beating today. Zeon slams into the floor, screaming in pain. This is not exactly the cool murderer comeback we were expecting. The thug is cracking his knuckles, saying he could have been a nice guy, but Zeon crossed the line. Typical bully logic. Suddenly, the thug's face drops. He looks like he just saw a ghost, or something much worse, outside the window. He screams out that someone is an awakener. The whole bus starts glowing as things go from bad to catastrophic. The bus is getting tossed around like a salad. People are flying everywhere. This is not a fight anymore. It is a disaster. The entire vehicle is lifted into the air. Whatever is out there in the sand is massive. The thug is trying to hold on for dear life, screaming at the driver to learn how to drive. Priorities, man. He looks toward the driver's seat, but the driver is not driving anymore. He is slumped over, totally unresponsive. The big guy realizes the driver is mumbling something weird. This is getting real creepy, real fast. Close up on the terror. He is realizing they are not going to the mines at all. The driver mumbles that they are not heading to the mine, his eyes rolled back. This dude is gone. Look at those eyes. That is not a human expression. He is possessed or just completely broken. He does not even get to finish his sentence before the real nightmare begins. A giant sandworm mouth opens up directly under the bus. Bro, that thing is the size of a skyscraper. Everyone is falling into the abyss. It is total chaos. No amount of muscle is helping the thug now. Zeon is falling too, watching the world disappear above him. This is a shitty world indeed. In Neo's soul, dying like this is nothing special. Just another day in the wasteland. Zeon is screaming as the sand swallows him whole. It is over. Or is it? One last look at his eye before everything goes dark. He still has that spark in him. Everything is quiet. Just a hand reaching out from the depths of the sand. Someone starts talking, saying it is so cliché and predictable it makes him yawn. That is a lot of confidence for someone buried alive. He is thinking about the fantasy of being stronger. Most people just dream about it while they die. The sand starts swirling around his hand. Something is waking up deep beneath the surface. Zeon's eyes snap open, and they are literally glowing with power. Main character mode, activated. He explodes out of the sand with a massive roar. Talk about a dramatic entrance back to the world of the living. He is coughing up sand, gasping for air. Even with powers, being buried alive still sucks. We see an internal view. His whole nervous system is lighting up like a Christmas tree. He is evolving. Ancient statues buried in the sand start to crackle. The energy he is putting off is reacting with the environment. Close up on those golden eyes. He is not the same scared kid who is hiding on a bus anymore. He hears a heartbeat. Thump, thump. The buried Eiffel Tower is right there in the background. Every buried landmark, every piece of the old world is vibrating with this same pulse. The golden glow in his eye intensifies. He is connecting to something massive. Even the floating ruins in the sky are pulsing. The whole planet is reacting to him. Zeon is struggling to keep it together. His body is being flooded with an insane amount of mana. A shot from space shows the shattered moon and the Earth. Something big just changed in the atmosphere. A literal vortex of energy is forming in his vision. He is looking directly into the source. It is like staring into a black hole made of light. This is some next-level power scaling. Blaster. He channels all that energy into his fist. Here comes the payback. He fires a massive beam that cuts through the desert like a hot knife through butter. Goodbye, sandworm. He stands there in the middle of the carnage, declaring his new goal: he will survive. Covered in blue blood and grit, Zeon looks absolutely terrifying. The weak kid is officially gone. He walks away from the remains of the monster, just a lone warrior in a world of sand. Those eyes, he is ready to take on the gods now. Lee Jiryong better watch out. And that is the prologue, folks. Zeon has awakened, and he is out for blood. The rest of the chapters drop April 30th. Zeon is definitely feeling something now. He says every single cell in his body is vibrating, which means a massive power-up is incoming. He clenches his fist as that realization hits. This is awakening. About time, bro, was literally getting eaten alive. The giant sandworm is not giving him much time to process, though. Look at the size of that thing. It is basically a living skyscraper. Zeon stands his ground, looking tiny compared to that massive maw. It is the classic David versus Goliath moment. He drops into a fighting stance, telling the beast to bring it on. He is finally ready to stop running and start fighting back. Wait, who the heck is this? Some guy with a massive sword just drops out of the sky and tells Zeon he is in the way. Rude much. Zeon's eye says it all. Pure shock. 1 second he was ready for his hero moment, the next some random dude stole his spotlight. The sheer force of this new guy's entrance sends Zeon flying backward. Talk about an aggressive introduction. He lands hard in the sand, probably wondering if he's ever going to catch a break. Getting tossed around is basically his life story at this point. Zeon picks himself up, spitting out sand and wondering when that guy even got there. He did not even see him move. The realization starts to set in. If someone can get that close without him noticing, he is on a completely different level. Meanwhile, Sword Guy is busy absolutely wrecking the sandworm. Blue blood is spraying everywhere. Guess that thing will not be eating any more buses. He is standing on top of a cliff, looking down at the creature like it is just a minor annoyance. He tells it to back down. And then he just kicks off, sending the rest of the monster crashing down. He says to the first floor, stone cold. The impact is absolutely insane. Dust and sand explode into the air as the massive corpse hits the ground. Zeon has to shield his face from the debris. All he can manage to say is holy crap, and honestly, same. Sword Guy lands and realizes his blade is stuck in the ground. Zeon is just staring in awe, realizing this is what a real awakened person looks like. Suddenly, this blue-haired girl appears out of nowhere, all hyped up. Apparently, that is Captain Zhang Yang BM. Big name for a big sword. Giselle, that is the blue-haired girl, is already right behind Zeon. He is bugging out because she is just as fast as the captain. She grabs his arm, and Zeon feels a literal chill. It is like his arm is turning into an ice cube. She brushes off the sandworm as not a tricky opponent and introduces herself. Zeon is definitely feeling the pressure here. Captain Zhang gives him a serious look. This guy's eyes are intense, like he is looking right through you. He is not exactly the chatty type, just staring down our main character while Giselle does all the talking. Giselle is all smiles and peace signs now, but you just know she could snap a person in half without breaking a sweat. See? I told you. She just casually tosses Zeon over her shoulder like he weighs absolutely nothing. She slams him face first into the dirt. Zeon is definitely regretting whatever life choices led him to this desert. She is holding his arm now, trying to guess his rank and ability. She is literally singing a drum roll while he is in pain. Savage. She leans in close to check his skin, and then gets a real confused look on her face. Xian is trembling on the ground while Captain Zhang asks, what is the problem? He is probably thinking this kid is just another bug. Giselle reports that he does not have a rank crest. Xian is screaming about his arm, but nobody seems to care about his pain. Xian is internally freaking out. No rank crest? He knows he felt something happen. There is no way he did not awaken. A voice from the vehicle shouts at them to hurry up before sunset. In this world, you do not want to be outside after dark. Giselle starts dragging Xian toward the truck, claiming she is saving him. Xian points out she is the one who almost ripped his arm off. Captain Zhang stares at Xian one last time. He is definitely suspicious of the kid who survived a sandworm attack solo. Xian stares right back, sweat dripping down his face. He is trying to stay cool, but it is hard when your life is on the line. The captain finally makes a call to throw him inside. Guess Xian is joining their little field trip to the mines. And they are off. The Humvee speeds across the desert, kicking up dust as the sun starts to set. Inside, Giselle is having the time of her life while Xian is tied up and shouting. She is definitely the group's resident chaotic energy. The vehicle hits a bump, and Xian takes a tumble. Every single time. Yeah, the universe really has it out for him. He lies there on the floor, watching the ceiling and thinking about his new situation. At least he is not worm food. He recalls seeing the sand move according to his will. That was not a dream or a hallucination. He sits up, his hands still bound. He is convinced now he definitely awakened an ability. He looks at his wrist, still confused why they could not see his crest. Then he notices something about the color. It is the same color as the sand. The lines are so faint and blend in so well that even an awakened like Giselle missed them. A handy info panel explains that crest colors follow an awaken's affinity. Makes sense. Magic types like Giselle get blue, combat types get red. Simple enough, right? And we see the captain's red crest. So what does a sand-colored one mean for our boy Xian? He places his hand on the floor, testing things out. The sand starts to lift and swirl around his fingers. It is confirmed he has the ability to manipulate sand. Even he has never heard of something like this before. His crest might only show F rank, the lowest tier, but Xian can feel it. This power has infinite potential, just like the desert itself. Look at that smug grin. He knows exactly what kind of game changer he just got. He decides to play it smart. He will wait until this power is truly his, keeping it hidden and enduring whatever they throw at him. The silhouette of Xian holding a miniature Earth is a mood. He says this world will become his stage. Edgy, but I am here for it. They finally arrive at their destination, a massive, jagged fortress carved right into the desert mountains. Welcome to the stone mine. Xian looks around, impressed. It has got checkpoints and everything. Looks like a pretty normal operation for a post-apocalyptic mine. A guard shouts at him to move it. Xian complains about still being tied up, but the guard just tells him to shut his mouth. Giselle and the captain watch as he is led away. Giselle thinks it is just a massive coincidence that a rat like him survived. Captain Zhang is not buying it though. He is staring after Xian with a look that says he knows something is up. He says it is not a coincidence. This guy's intuition is on another level. He is left wondering what on earth that kid actually is. Little does he know, he just recruited a future legend. He regrets not at least asking for his name. He has a feeling he will meet that guy again someday. You bet your giant sword you will. Xian arrives at the stone mine, and man, this place is basically a whole underground city. It has got that gritty, industrial cyberpunk vibe going on. People are everywhere, just trying to survive in this cramped hole in the wall. Looks like a total nightmare to live here. But before he can even settle in, some guard starts breathing down his neck, growling at him to keep his mouth shut. Welcome wagon is pretty hostile today. The guy actually pulls a piece on him, asking if he wants a bullet in his head. Talk about 0 to 60 in no time. Luckily, another dude steps in to de-escalate. He says he does not give a crap, basically telling the guard to chill out. Xian's just standing there like, okay then. Once the heat's off, our boy starts wandering. He is starving and honestly just curious about what kind of amenities a place like this has to offer. He spots a food stall and decides to check it out. He starts to ask for something, probably smelling something halfway decent for once. His eyes catch a propaganda poster on the wall. Dystopian worlds always have the best, and by best I mean most depressing, ads. Making Neo Soul shine with our labor. Yeah, okay buddy. More like making the rich richer while we rot in a cave. The old man running the stall hands him a drink and asks what he thinks. Xian's just trying to get some calories in. The old man starts talking about how Neo Soul gets its energy from mana stones. Typical world building stuff, but Xian's actually listening. Xian chomps down on a meat skewer and asks if there is anything besides mana stones powering things. Dude's always looking for an angle. The old man points a gnarled finger right at him. You. Oh boy, here comes the cryptic wisdom or just an insult. He calls people like Xian rats who just obey and fill up easily. Seriously, what is with everyone in this series calling him a rat? The old man keeps rambling, saying Zeon looks like he is ready to swim in the river of the Nether, basically calling him a dead man walking. Then he asks about the sandworm attack, asking if it felt like he was in his mom's womb. Okay, that is just gross and weird, even for an old hermit. Zeon is not taking it. He tells the guy he would rather be sandworm crap than listen to this. He is just here to make money, not deal with crazy. The old man just laughs it off and offers to show him something funny. Whenever someone says that in a place like this, it is never actually funny. He slides back a panel to reveal shelves full of dusty old boxes. Does not look like much, but in this world, everything has a price. Zeon asks what they are, and the old man's answer is chilling. He collected them. The remains of the people who came here, also your future. Talk about a buzzkill dinner conversation. We get a quick glimpse of what he means. People literally climbing up ropes, desperate to get into the mines because they think it is their only choice. They hold on until they can, not anymore. Some even selling their own bodies just to stay afloat. It is a brutal cycle. Money literally falling through the air as people plummet. It is a heavy metaphor for how this place just consumes everyone who enters. Back at the table, the old man is watching Zeon eat, basically waiting for him to become another box on the shelf. Creepy. Zeon asks for the bill, and the old man drops a bomb. 10 sol. For a skewer? That is highway robbery. Zeon is losing it. He asks if he sprinkled gold over the meat or what. He knows he is being scammed. He tells the old man his meat is terrible and he does not have that kind of cash anyway. Big mistake, kid. Never tell a scammer you are broke. Suddenly, the vibe changes. A whole group of thugs just appears out of the shadows behind him. The chefs and customers are not just bystanders, they are all part of the racket. Knives are out, and Zeon is officially surrounded. Zeon growls that he ain't paying crap. He might be outnumbered, but he is not going down without a fight. He looks over his shoulder as the thugs close in. The tension is thick enough to cut with those knives. A sudden movement behind him makes him flinch. These guys are fast, and they have clearly done this 1,000 times. The old man leans in, asking if he was not suspicious at all about how an old man like himself was doing business in a mine like this. The lighting goes dramatic as we see Zeon pinned down by the gaze, and the blades of everyone in the room. The old man has his hands together, looking like a total final boss. He asks what Zeon is going to do now. One of the big thugs slams his hand on the table, probably trying to intimidate the lunch right out of Zeon. The thug is towering over him, looking absolutely unhinged. Zeon's just trying to keep his cool while the guy rants. Old man plays good cop for a second. He says he is not a bad person and will allow Zeon to pay him in some other way. He points right at Zeon's pocket. He knows about the mana stone. This old guy's eyes are sharper than they look. Zeon is internally panicking. He knows about this too? That stone was his only leverage in this hellhole. The old man tells him to show it, promising to price it fairly. Yeah, right. We all know how his fair pricing works. The big thug is done playing games. He tells the old man to cut the crap and asks what he needs to do to keep things safe. He grabs Zeon by the head, basically treating him like a stress ball. Zeon tries to play dumb, asking if there is another way. Suddenly, the whole scene explodes. Zeon is not just taking it, he is unleashing his new power. Sand Blaster. Zeon mumbles the words, and a massive wave of sand just erupts from him, blowing the thugs back. The blast is huge. It catches everyone off guard, sending the main thug flying through the air. The aftermath is brutal. The thugs are just left standing there, completely dazed and covered in what looks like pulverized stone. The sand is still swirling everywhere. Zeon just pulled off a move that would make any Awakened jealous. He stands there in the middle of the wreckage, looking like a total badass. The tables have officially turned. His eyes are glowing through the dust. No more rat insults after this one. He is here to stay. Wait, what? The thug is still holding his head? The thug shouts at him. Did Zeon just imagine that entire fight? Bro was literally dreaming while getting his head crushed. He says a swear word. Reality is way less cool than his imagination right now. Zeon finally gives in and tosses the mana stone onto the table. It is his only ticket out of this mess, but it hurts to let it go. The stone hits the wood with a thud. Even in this lighting, you can tell that thing is high quality. The old man picks it up, squinting at the size. He knows exactly what he's holding, but you can already see him calculating how much he can lowball our boy. He says it looks like it is worth at least 100 sol. Zeon loses it. That stone is worth triple that, and they both know it. This old man is a straight-up crook. Zeon is fuming, but the old man just hits him with the classic line that everything here is valuable. He is basically telling him to take it or leave it. Suddenly, the big thug from before slams Zeon's head right into the table. So much for a peaceful negotiation. Zeon is clenching his fist so hard his knuckles are turning white. He wants to unleash that sand power so bad, but he knows it is not the right time yet. He looks up with blood dripping down his face, a terrifying grin plastered on. He tells the old man to just make sure to give him plenty of change. The old man laughs, telling him to be careful with pickpockets while one is literally standing right in front of him. The irony is real. He gestures to the back, telling Zeon that since it is his first deal, he can go pick out his change from the piles of junk. He tells him to pick just one from any of them. Xian walks toward the shelves, surrounded by the literal remains of people who did not survive the mines. He starts digging through the boxes, calling it all a pile of trash. He is looking for anything that might actually be useful for his new ability. The old man watches him closely. He is definitely intrigued by Xian's attitude. Most people would be begging for their lives, not shopping for gear. He wonders when he last saw such a petty spirit. Xian is obsessed with never taking a loss, even in a situation like this. Xian pulls out a pair of goofy glasses with a fake nose and mustache. Seriously? This is what you pick as change? The old man explains that those were left behind by a caravan. Xian does not care about the history, he is looking for a specific vibe. He finally settles on an old hourglass. He stares into the falling sand like it is holding the secrets of the universe. The old man thinks he is just interested in useless stuff. Xian just shrugs it off, but you know there is a plan here. As he is walking away, Xian pauses and asks for the old man's name. The old guy shouts back Clexi with a weird amount of pride. At least now we have a name for our resident scam artist. Xian's reply? Old man Clexi, let us never see each other again. Brutally honest till the very end. Clexi just chuckles as the kid walks out. He is definitely going to remember the young boy who did not back down. Focus on the hourglass. The sand is flowing slowly, perfectly measured. For a sand mage, this is basically a high-tech gadget. Xian watches it, noting that it takes exactly 10 minutes for the sand to fall. He is already training his eyes to track every grain. He makes it to the miner's lodging. It is a cramped, dirty room with a single metal bed. Welcome to your new home, buddy. He lies back, staring at the ceiling and letting out a long sigh. It has been a very long day and it is only getting started. His eyes reflect the flickering light. He is exhausted, but his mind is racing. This is not where his story ends. He holds the hourglass up, whispering to it to move. He is trying to command the sand inside without touching the glass. Nothing. He stares at it intensely, waiting for even a single grain to react to his will. He slams it down, frustrated. He realizes this item is not actually related to his awakening. He just liked the look of it. He sits there in silence, feeling the weight of his failure. Awakening is one thing, but mastering it is going to be a nightmare. He looks at the junk scattered around the room. He had a strange sense of déjà vu when he saw that stuff, like it was prepared just for him. A familiar feeling, as if it were calling for me. He is definitely getting some main character vibes from the hourglass now. Bam. The door gets kicked open with enough force to nearly take it off the hinges. This place really needs better security. Enter Park Maho. This dude is massive and looks like he eats boulders for breakfast. He is screaming about Xian not being in the mine yet. Xian does not even flinch. He just calmly states his name and tells Maho he should have told him where to go first. Bold move. Maho is not interested in logic. He throws a massive punch, sending Xian flying across the small room. Xian hits the wall hard. Maho is on him in a second, screaming at him to shut his mouth. Maho clenches a fist that looks like it is made of solid granite. He screams at him to shut his damn mouth. He slams Xian into the floor with a bone-jarring impact. This dude is a total monster. Maho starts raining down blows, calling Xian a babbling dumb idiot. He really hates it when people talk back to him. He grinds his heel into Xian's face, telling him that unawakened bastards should just take their beating and stay quiet. Xian is barely conscious. Maho tells him to stand up and follow him. Guess the break time is officially over. Xian stays on the floor for a moment, the shadows covering his face. The atmosphere is getting incredibly dark. Park Maho, I remember you. I will make sure to at least kill you. Yeah, Maho just made a very powerful enemy. They arrive at the Zone 3 mine entrance. It is a dark, foreboding tunnel that looks like it swallows hope for a living. Maho tosses some gear at him, barking at a worker to get Xian some gear. He is already treating him like a piece of equipment. Xian is still being sarcastic, asking about the daily wage while he is covered in bruises. The balls on this kid are insane. He tries to put on his helmet, but he is still trying to get answers. He says you should explain that stuff to him. A pickaxe slams into the wood right next to his head. Maho is done talking. Maho screams that he does not have time to teach him how to do basic mining. He reminds him again that every piece of gear is deducted from his pay. Send this brat to shaft number 972. The other miners look horrified. Apparently, that shaft is a one-way trip to the grave. When the miner tries to object, Maho gets right in his face, asking if he wants to go there instead. Needless to say, they start moving Xian immediately. Final warning, do not come back until you dig up mana stones. Xian gives a sarcastic yes sir, while his partner tells him to shut up before he gets them both killed. Xian's first day in the mines, and it is already a disaster. Apparently, everyone is on edge because some guy named Park Maho lost all his money gambling. Great start. Turns out, this mine is basically an underground city of sin. Gambling, drugs, you name it. It is just Neo Soul, but with more dirt. The elevator ride down is awkward as hell. Xian laughs at how bold the other miner is for calling Maho an idiot. Better watch your tongue, buddy. Xian starts complaining about having baby skin and how much pickaxing is gonna hurt. Dude, you are in a survival manhwa. Toughen up. They finally reach their destination, tunnel number 972. The miner tells him not to worry since no one has ever been injured there. Suspicious. Here we are. It looks less like a mine and more like the entrance to a horror movie. Zeon thinks he can just grab some mana stones and bounce. The other miner hits him with a grim "you will not be coming back." Way to kill the mood. Turns out over a dozen people have vanished in this specific tunnel. No bodies, no nothing. Just gone into the void. The dude literally says sorry and thank you for Zeon taking the job no one else would. Basically, thanks for being the sacrifice. And then he just leaves. Zero hesitation. He is out of there faster than a cat near a vacuum. Zeon realization kicks in hard. Wait, everyone died? He is screaming at the guy to come back, but that elevator is long gone. Left alone in the dark. Talk about being ditched. This is a massive L for our protagonist. Since he cannot leave, Zeon starts taking his frustration out on the rocks. He says it is fair he gets sent to a death trap for offending some guys. Classic main character luck. His pickaxe slips and goes flying into the darkness. He chases after his only tool like his life depends on it. Spoilers, it does. He wanders deeper into the cave, and things are starting to look real creepy. Everything is covered in a weird fog. He finally stops being mad long enough to notice the mana is insanely dense here. Normal humans would have literally exploded by now. The mana pressure is getting to him. He is sweating, gasping. Something big is generating all this energy. He spots his gear on the ground. At least he is not totally empty-handed. There is the pickaxe, but it is snapped clean in half. Rip tool, we hardly knew ye. He stands over the broken remains, probably wondering how much Maho is going to charge him for this. Suddenly, the ground decides it is a portal now. Red light everywhere. This is definitely not in the job description. The absolute what just happened face. 1 second you are mining, the next you are falling into a magical drain. A portal? He gets sucked in before he can even finish his sentence. Adios, tunnel 972. His helmet and pickaxe head fall through the red void. Cinematic scene transition incoming. The pickaxe head lands in a new location. We are not in the mines anymore, folks. Flashback time. Little Zeon was abandoned by his parents and treated like a nuisance. Life really was a struggle from day one. While other kids played, he was getting beat up for stealing scraps of meat just to not starve. He wanted to dream, but life kept him pinned to the ground. Every day was just a fight for a tomorrow he did not even want. The mistake that ruined everything. He killed someone while trying to survive, and suddenly he is a wanted man. Hunted by powerful awakeners like a common rat. All he ever wanted was a life where he did not have to worry about dying every 5 minutes. Just a normal life. That is the dream. But life had other plans for our boy Zeon. Back to reality. Zeon hits the floor with a heavy thud. Welcome to your new destination. He groans, rubbing his head. It is hot, stuffy, and smells like a giant fireplace in here. He touches the ground and realizes it is covered in ash. Not sand, not dirt. Ash. The realization face. He is starting to piece together exactly where he is, and he does not like the answer. If he fell into a portal, that means only one thing in this world, and it is never good news for a solo rookie. He is inside a dungeon, specifically a volcanic nightmare full of lava and death. Things just went from zero to hero death run real quick. Zeon wakes up and realizes he is in a volcanic hellscape. No time for a nap, buddy, you are literally in an oven. He touches the ground, and it is sizzling. Yeah, this place is definitely not a vacation spot. Rest in peace, his fingertips. He screams about how freaking hot it is. Yeah, no kidding. Welcome to the worst sauna experience of your life. Even professional dungeon raiders prepare for weeks before entering a place like this. Zeon just fell in while chasing a broken tool. Peak luck. He looks at his hand covered in hot volcanic ash. If he does not find a way out soon, his lungs are basically going to be slow cooked. He starts ripping off the heavy miner gear. Dead weight is the last thing you want when you are trying not to melt. He ties a makeshift mask. If there is an entrance, there has got to be an exit. He guesses it is probably somewhere high up. And there it is. The exit is likely at the top of that massive, lava-spewing mountain. Simple, right? Just a casual stroll up a volcano. He knows if he stays here, he is just waiting to be incinerated. Time to put those legs to work. He starts running, trying to ignore the heat radiating from every single rock. He leaps across a gap with everything he has got, shouting his name is Zeon to keep his focus. And he does not quit. That is a great line, though the lava probably does not find it very intimidating. Phew, he barely lands as the platform behind him gets swallowed by the shifting heat. Too close. The ground is literally falling apart beneath his feet. He mumbles an expletive, sliding towards the edge. He is sliding straight towards a pool of lava. He is actually begging for his life. He managed to grab a ledge just as a massive wave of lava splashes against the wall. He is talking big, but those eyes are pure terror. He claims this lava is not scary at all. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, buddy. Your trembling hands say otherwise. He crawls back onto solid ground, gasping for any air that is not currently on fire. He lets out a primal scream of rage. Park Manhwa, you are dead to me once I am out of here. He tries to rein it in. Getting angry just makes the internal temperature rise, and he is already at the boiling point. No matter what, I will make it back. That is that main character resolve kicking in. You love to see it. Just 4 more jumps across the platforms. He's counting them down like it is a game of the floor is lava. Except, actually, he sizes up the path ahead. It is basically a parkour course from the deepest parts of hell. Do not stop. Move if you have time to think. Overthinking is just a great way to end up as a lava-flavored crispy. My life will not end in a place like this. He is really leaning into the shonen protagonist energy now. He takes a massive leap of faith across a giant chasm. Looking good so far. Suddenly, the floor decides it wants a snack. A massive mouth opens up right beneath him. Talk about a jump scare. It is a giant lava salamander. The only appropriate response here is a swear word. Zeon barely manages to use his sand ability to pull together a shield of ash to block the monster's strike. The impact sends him flying. So much for that graceful landing he was planning on. The beast is not done. It is huge, scaly, and looks like it has not eaten a miner in at least a century. My life will not end in a place like this. He is really leaning into the shonen protagonist energy now. He is desperate, pouring every ounce of focus into controlling the volcanic ash swirling around the beast. It is working. He is using the ash to try and cool the monster or at least block the heat, but it is melting his shield fast. It saved me, but his arm is shaking like crazy. He is reaching his limit and the dungeon is just getting started. He gets knocked away again. This is starting to look like a very one-sided beatdown. He is lying flat on the ground. The environment itself is doing more damage than the monster at this point. His vision is going blurry. His nose feels fried. He cannot breathe. He is reaching the end of his rope. He is just a tiny speck in this dark, burning abyss. Is he dying? Sad trombone moment, honestly. He clenches his fist on the ground. Still got a bit of fight left in him, even if it is just out of spite. Ha, it has been less than a minute since I said I was getting out of here alive. I have never even dated a girl before. Solid priorities, Zeon. I cannot die yet. He tries to push himself up, his boot sliding on the slick, hot ash. He is looking directly at the monster's glowing eye. One last desperate stand. Here we go. The monster opens its maw for the finishing move. This looks like a game over screen if I have ever seen one. Zeon lets out a final desperate scream as the monster lunges forward. A voice? Wait, is he hallucinating from the heat stroke now? That would be a new low. That is very interesting. Someone sounds way too excited for a life or death situation. Something, or someone, is falling from the ceiling like a meteor. Absolute chaotic entrance. It is an old man, and he looks like he is having the absolute time of his life. Those teeth, man, nightmare fuel. Falling? Yeah, dude is literally dive bombing onto the scene. Talk about a weird plot twist. The old man tightens his grip on the hilt. You can see the red mana starting to overflow. This is not going to be pretty for whatever is in front of him. He swings that massive slab of metal like it is a toothpick. The speed is absolutely insane for a guy who looks like he should be at a retirement home. Zeon's just trying to survive the shockwave at this point. Here it comes. Yeah, no kidding. Cover your eyes, kid. Kaboom. A pillar of pure energy erupts, completely vaporizing everything in its path. That is not just a sword swing. That is a natural disaster. Dust and debris go flying everywhere. The sheer force behind that hit is enough to reshape the entire cavern. Bits of the monster's remains fall back like rain. Talk about a one-shot kill. The beast lets out one final, agonizing roar before fading into nothingness. Overkill much. Zeon is clutching his head, his ears probably ringing like a church bell. He wonders if his eardrums ruptured. He looks up to the dust, trying to process the fact that the monster he was struggling with just got deleted from existence. The cavern is eerily quiet now, save for the crackling of embers. The old man is just standing there in the middle of the carnage like it was a light morning workout. Zeon touches the ground, still trembling. He thinks this is not just the level of a strong awakened, it is completely different. Truly, an existence on another level. This guy radiates final boss energy, and he has not even broken a sweat. The old man takes a casual step forward, his boots crunching on the scorched rock. He stops right in front of Zeon and drops a heavy question. What are you? I do not think he is looking for a miner as an answer. Zeon's still in shock, but the old man repeats himself, asking what his name is. The pressure in the air is getting heavy. He starts a countdown because apparently he has got zero patience. He is going to count down from 3 to 1. 3. The tension is thick enough to cut. 2. Zeon's brain is probably buffering, trying to find words. 1. Close up on Zeon's wide eye. This guy is definitely not bluffing about the countdown. Time is up. He is standing right over him now, looking down like he is about to take out the trash. Well, if you will not talk. He starts reaching for his sword again. Zeon, buddy, now is a good time to use your vocal cords. His eyes glow a menacing red, then die. He is really going for it. Zeon finally snaps out of it, waving his hands frantically. Wait. I do not know what is going on, but please spare me. Zeon. My name is Zeon. He practically screams it. Good choice. Dying is definitely the worst option here. The old man just scoffs. Zeon? What an idiotic name. Wow, okay. Way to insult a guy right after trying to kill him. He unleashes a casual slash that slices through the rocky background like butter. Just a little reminder of who is in charge here. Daeorden. That is the old man's name. It sounds way more intimidating than Zeon, honestly. Zeon is fuming internally, wondering what he thinks he is doing right now. He is grateful to be alive, but the disrespect is real. He yells at him for calling his name idiotic and for threatening him. Zeon's finally found his spine. Daeorden just sighs, calling him a dumbass. He has already got a nickname for him. This is going to be a fun partnership. It looks like you got caught in a snare. Daeorden points to the red wisps of energy clinging to Zeon. Wait, what is a snare? He explains that when a dungeon's mana gets oversaturated, it creates cracks or portals to vent out the excess. These portals, or snares, grab whatever is nearby. Zeon's literally covered in the dungeon's leftovers. Daeorden gives a sarcastic thumbs up. You've got some rotten luck, kid. Zeon's just cursing Park Maho's name under his breath. Zeon tries to protest the dumbass title, but Daeorden is not having it. He grabs Zeon's face roughly, forcing him to look. He says he will show exactly why he is a dumbass. Shut up and do as I say. Increase the purity of the mana. Daeorden's teaching him how to use his eyes properly. Zeon focuses, his eyes starting to glow with a strange light. He is seeing through the illusions of the dungeon. A massive, glowing monster is revealed, lurking right in the shadows. It looks like a giant bird made of pure energy. You finally see it. Daeorden's voice is smug. He has been seeing this thing the whole time. He explains it is a beast with stealth abilities. Without those special eyes, Zeon would have been lunch without even knowing why. Zeon is paralyzed. This thing was right in front of me, and I did not even feel any presence. Daeorden does not even move from his spot, just unleashes a red energy beam that shears right through the invisible beast. Zeon is dazed. He realizes this old man has saved his life twice in the span of 5 minutes. This man, just how powerful is he? He is looking at Daeorden with a whole new level of respect and fear. He asks who he really is. Daeorden just walks away, calling him a brat. He asks if he really is a dumbass. Zeon is officially losing his mind. He's screaming at the old man to tell him who he is and where the hell they've landed. Daeorden just casually drops that they're in a dungeon, specifically his personal hunting ground. Zeon's just like, hunting ground? Are you for real right now? The old man cracks a sinister smile. He tells Zeon to just sit back and see for himself. This is going to be a long day. I guess we have a name for this legendary armor or whatever. Crayon? Looks like some high-end wasteland brand. The energy radiating from him is insane. He has not even moved yet, and the ground is already starting to crumble. Zeon is clutching his ears, probably from the sheer auditory pressure of all that mana. He groans, wondering what is going on. Zeon is sweating buckets just from being near the guy. He's looking around, waiting for the next crazy thing to happen. And then, firebirds. Everywhere. The whole cavern just turned into an oven full of angry crows. Daeorden just stands there like it is a walk in the park. He calls Zeon an idiot and tells him to keep his head on a swivel. Talk about tough love. He tells him if he is of any use to survive on his own, he's really just gonna leave our boy to die? One of those fire crows dives straight for Zeon's head. No time to think, just move or get cooked. These things are relentless. Zeon's struggling just to track them, wondering how the hell they are so fast. He's throwing out blocks, but they're just too quick. He's barely avoiding getting shredded into tinder. Another one swipes at his feet. This is a complete and total mess. Zeon is way out of his league here. Zeon is getting completely overwhelmed. He's shouting about them biting his left side specifically. Annoying jumpy bastards indeed. He's trying to swat them away, but he's just hitting air. They're mocking him at this point. The swarm is getting thicker. It's just a solid wall of fire and feathers closing in on him. He's actually taking hits now. This is looking really bad for our main character. Even with his new sand powers, he just can't keep up. The speed difference between him and these monsters is just too high. He's having a full-on existential crisis, thinking he is going to end up dead at this rate. Honestly, hard to disagree. He thinks back to the old man saving him. He's got to find a way to step up, or he really will be the idiot Daeorden keeps calling him. Zeon looks up at the old man, who's probably just enjoying the free entertainment. Daeorden is shouting something, but Zeon's ears are still ringing way too much to hear a word of it. He realizes he needs a totally new strategy. He has to find a way to track them beyond just what his physical eyes can catch. Zeon's trying to think, but the monsters are not giving him any room to breathe. Daeorden yells at him again, calling him an idiot. Daeorden decides to give a live combat tutorial. He says he will show you why you're an idiot. He gives some quick instructions: gather mana in your eyes and increase its purity. Basically, it is Mana Vision 101. Zeon tries to focus his energy. Daeorden tells him he needs to see with his mana, not just his eyes. Another monster lunges in for the kill, but this time Zeon is actually starting to see the traces it leaves behind. He's standing dead center in the swarm, finally starting to find his rhythm. The chaos is starting to make sense. Focus on the mana. He needs to see the monsters as energy signatures instead of just fast, fiery blurs. The advice is simple. Wait for the mana to get close, then strike a counter at the closest possible range. High risk, high reward. Xion realizes the old man was training him the entire time. The guy already saw this whole progression coming. Xion is moving through the fire crows now, actually dodging their attacks with some grace. Look at him go. A massive, terrifying beast rises up in the background. Xion is floored, wondering who the hell that grandpa is. Daeordan is cackling like a total madman. He's actually having the time of his life. A massive beam of light just cuts through the whole cavern. That is some serious endgame level firepower. The old man is just getting warmed up. He's shouting for more. This guy is absolutely insane. He faces down the giant monster without even blinking, telling it to bring them all on. Daeordan is a straight-up beast. We start with a bang. Daeordan is staring down a colossal rock monster like it's just a Tuesday. Look at the size of that thing. He's literally looking it in the eyes and calling it a shame. The disrespect is through the roof. The old man pulls back his blade, glowing with that intense red mana. He's about to turn this rock into pebbles. Back in my days, there were... Sigh. Daeordan is out here gatekeeping dungeon difficulty, while the cavern is literally melting around him. Xion is just standing there with his jaw on the floor, thinking he feels bad for that monster. Yeah, same buddy, same. He's looking at the smoking remains, wondering how one old man can take down a titan like that solo. Xion thinks the nightmare is over, giving a weary smile while covered in blood and grime. He thinks it is over, but at least there's no more monsters, right? WROO. A roar shakes the entire cavern. The sound lines are massive. This is not just some grunt. The sonic pressure is so intense, it's literally rattling Xion's brain inside his skull. He's on all fours, actually puking from the sheer force of the sound. This is visceral. Daeordan is not even phased. He just looks back and informs the kid that the boss has officially entered the chat. He explains that every dungeon has a final boss that acts as the origin of the whole area. This is the source of the heat. A massive, flaming silhouette rises from the lava. That blue fire looks way hotter than the regular red stuff. Xion is looking up, terrified. This thing is on a whole different level from the sandworms or rock golems. Daeordan's grin is absolutely feral. He's been waiting for this. Behold the Crimson Drake. It's a B-rank beast of pure destruction. Xion realizes he's way out of his league. B-rank? That's basically a walking natural disaster to him. The Drake is surrounded by a glowing blue orb of mana. It's intimidating as hell. Daeordan points it out, explaining that monsters at B rank and above have unique traits. He's lecturing the kid mid-fight. A red force field means a physical fighter trait. But blue? Like the one this boss has. That means it's a magic-type trait. And in a closed space like this, that is bad news. Xion is starting to realize the blue energy is not just for show. It is a magic-based force field. Xion screams at the top of his lungs. That is overpowered. Tell us how you really feel, kid. A massive cross of light appears as the battle officially begins. This is reaching peak hype. Everything Xion thought he knew about strength is being shattered. It is meaningless. His experience, his common sense, it all amounts to zero compared to the power being thrown around here. Before that old man, everything else is just background noise. The Drake lunges with a massive, flaming slash. It's trying to end this in one move. Look at the claws. It's absolute carnage. The screen is filled with motion and impact lines. Daeordan blocks it head-on. He's sliding back, but he's holding his ground against the dragon. The old man grunts as he exerts pressure. He's actually putting in some effort now. The Drake charges a point-blank blast. This is getting crazy. Daeordan's teeth are bared. He's loving this. KO boom. The clash creates a massive explosion of mana and steel. He asks the Drake if it is in pain, laughing while the beast is literally trying to incinerate him. Absolute unit. He tightens his grip on the hilt. Worry not, I will gladly end your suffering. Because today is the day you cease to exist. Chills. Literal chills. Xion is internally crying. He thinks he is going to die today. He's just caught in the crossfire of two titans. He's dodging falling rocks and energy beams. He yells, asking why they cannot just talk things out. He's shielding himself from the extreme heat as the monster roars again. The Drake is getting desperate, throwing everything it's got at the old man. A massive shockwave knocks Xion off his feet. The ground is literally liquidating. He's scrambling, trying to find anything solid to hold on to. He wishes they could fight somewhere else. Daeordan is cackling. This is it. This is what I wanted. He asks if it does not feel like they are at an amusement park. Yeah, the kind where everyone dies, Grandpa. The cavern ceiling starts to give way. The Drake is charging a final, massive blast. Xion is right in the center of the impact zone. He looks like a tiny ant about to be stepped on. The red light of the mana is blinding. It's all or nothing now. Xion just says a swear word as the floor literally vanishes beneath him. He's falling into the dark abyss as the cavern floor collapses entirely. He's tumbling through the air, watching the flaming fight disappear above him. He hits a slide of sand and starts plummeting even faster. This is a very bad day for Zeon. Blood drips from his nose as he stares into the dark. He's reaching his limit. His eyes start to close. The darkness is taking over. He's fallen into a glowing lava river at the very bottom. Is this the end for our protagonist? Daeordan is literally cackling while fighting a giant dragon. He's out here asking the Drake if that's all it's got. Talk about big energy. He's roasting the boss for bowing its head, calling it a disgrace to the title. This old man has zero chill, and I love it. The Crimson Drake is tired of the trash talk and charges up a massive blue mana blast. This looks like it's gonna hurt. Even after seeing that power, Daeordan is still smug. He's impressed the boss has tricks, but he's definitely not scared. A massive beam of energy slices through the darkness. This is not just a fight, it is a laser show of pure destruction. Debris is flying everywhere as the cavern shakes from the impact. The scale of the power on display here is just insane. The Drake is huffing out blue mana smoke, looking like it's finally reaching its limit. This beast has taken a serious beating. Close up on the Drake's maw as it charges one last desperate blast. You can see the white-hot lightning crackling between its teeth. Red energy erupts in a violent clash against the dragon's blue mana. It's a total mess of primal elemental power. The dragon roars in agony as its defense finally breaks. That's a lot of teeth to show right before the end. Daeordan reveals he's been hunting this specific dragon for an entire year. He did not just stumble in here, this was a dedicated hit job. He raises his sword, explaining that he needs the dragon's heart to finally finish forging crayon. That is some hardcore crafting requirement. His eyes glow with a terrifying red light as he prepares the finishing blow. So, just die now. Chills, literal chills. The blade begins to absorb the surrounding mana, glowing with an intense blue light. Something big is coming. With one final surge of power, the Crimson Drake is completely vaporized into stardust. RIP big guy, you were just a rare crafting material. The hilt of the sword pulses with a deep red energy as it finishes absorbing the heart. The evolution is complete. The engravings on the blade start to glow like molten lava. This thing looks like it belongs in the hands of an endgame raid boss. Daeordan stands victorious with his newly forged weapon. He looks absolutely menacing standing in the middle of that crater. The sword is radiating so much heat and power, it's literally blurring the air around it. Definitely an S-rank item. He gives it a few practice swings, laughing like a kid who just got a new toy. A very, very dangerous toy. I see you got stronger, Crayon. He's literally talking to his sword like it is his best friend. Man is either super connected or just lost it long ago. Zeon is watching from the sidelines with the biggest sweat drop ever. Talking to a sword? Were you really crazy? Daeordan finally notices the kid is still alive. He seems genuinely surprised that Zeon survived the shockwaves of that battle. Zeon looks like he's been put through a blender. He admits he almost died about 10 different times in the last 5 minutes. He starts sliding down the sand dunes, trying to get away from the collapsing cavern. Gravity is definitely not his friend today. Look at that face. That is the face of a man who is purely fueled by spite and survival instincts right now. He digs his feet into the sand and prepares for one final effort. He is not going out as collateral damage. He throws a desperate punch into the sand to stabilize himself. This kid is surprisingly persistent for a rat. He lands hard, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. He's out of the danger zone, but he barely made it. He collapses on the sand, gasping for air. Man, I am honestly so persistent too. You can say that again, buddy. Zeon explains that the shockwaves actually helped sharpen his reflexes and helped him live. Daeordan actually gives him a compliment. Sort of. The old man warns that the dungeon is collapsing now that the boss is dead. Time to move before the ceiling becomes the floor. Suddenly, Daeordan grabs Zeon by the back of his shirt. Zeon's just like, wait, why are you holding on to me? Daeordan just starts laughing like a total maniac again. Whenever this guy laughs like that, something bad is about to happen to Zeon. He literally tosses Zeon into a black hole portal. Goodbye, idiot. Wow, talk about a rough exit strategy. Zeon is flying through the portal, screaming that this old man is even worse than part Manhwa. Valid complaint, honestly. He comes flying out of the other side of the portal, headed straight for the hot desert floor. Rough landing incoming. He faceplants right into the sand with a wet thud. That had to hurt his dignity more than anything. He's spitting out a mouthful of sand while Daeordan just casually walks through the portal behind him. No fair. Where's the gravity for him? Daeordan tells him to listen up. He's done being the fun, dragon-slaying grandpa and gets real serious for a second. He says he needs Zeon's sand power, but right now Zeon is just a weakling who is useless. Harsh, but accurate. He points toward the horizon, telling Zeon he can go back to Neo Soul and live a normal, boring life if he wants to. Or, he can choose to follow him and actually become a better idiot than he is right now. This is the big choice. Zeon is just sitting there stunned. He asks how long he has to follow him for. He's trying to process this life-changing offer. Daeordan admits he has no idea how long it'll take. Could be months, could be decades. This is not exactly a summer camp, kid. Zeon stares at him, realizing this is his only chance to stop being a bug and actually get some power. The portal behind them is closing as the sun sets over the dunes. It's a choice between the familiar hell or a new, dangerous gamble. Dayorden's eyes flash one last time as he waits for an answer. Now, choose. What is it going to be, Zeon? Normalcy or greatness? Choose? Zeon cannot help but laugh at the absurdity of it. He thinks the old man is just playing a very bad joke. He points a finger at the legendary warrior, asking if he has actually lost his marbles. He asks the old man if he is really crazy. Zeon lists off all the luxuries he would be leaving behind, like a roof over his head and an actual bed, just to wander into a wasteland. The old man does not blink, just gives a grim nod. Yeah, exactly that. He is not sugarcoating the hell he is offering. Zeon goes quiet for a second, the realization sinking in. There is really nothing left for him back in the city anyway. He makes his choice, walking straight up to the man who just deleted a dragon. He says he will go with him. He admits he is too weak to get the revenge he craves right now, but he is not forgetting the people who crossed him. Zeon gives a twisted, smug little grin. You were on the list too, old man. Bold move for a guy who just face-planted in the sand. He acknowledges that this guy is the strongest person he has ever seen. He knows following him is the only way to level up. The old man just cackles at the kid's bravado. He has heard plenty of strongest speeches before from people who ended up as dragon snacks. Zeon clenches his fist, fire in his eyes. He is determined that under this lunatic's tutelage, he will reach the top. You are going to regret that conviction one day. The old man's grin says he is going to make the training a living nightmare. Follow me, dumbass. He starts walking away without even checking if Zeon is coming. Lesson 1, keep up or get left behind. The desert sun is relentless, baking the ground as they head deeper into the unknown. This is not a hike, it is a death march. Zeon is already struggling, gasping for air as he tries to match the old man's casual stride, telling him to slow down. 6 hours later, and Zeon is barely crawling. He's begging for a break, but the old man has not even broken a sweat. The old man does not even look back. He is like a machine, just walking silently through the heat. Zeon is losing his mind. He complains about why he won't say anything. The silence is making the exhaustion 10 times worse. It's easily 50 degrees out here. Zeon's vision is starting to swim. He is one step away from a total system shutdown. His feet keep sinking into the soft sand, making every single step feel like he is dragging anchors. He is terrified of getting heat stroke. Finally, the old man stops. He turns around just to call Zeon an idiot again. Truly, the best mentor ever. He points out the obvious flaw. Zeon is a sand controller who is currently being bullied by a pile of sand. He calls it pathetic. Zeon snaps, screaming that he has only had these powers for 2 days. Cut him some slack. He is basically a newborn in this world. He keeps venting, reminding the old man that he is just an F-rank rookie, not some high-tier monster slayer. The old man's patience just evaporated. He grinds his teeth, looking like he is about to deliver a manual reset to Zeon's face. He tells him to stop his dumbass nonsense, grabbing Zeon, probably wishing he would just left him for the dragon. He drops some harsh truth. Nobody is born at S rank. Even the natural geniuses had to grind to get where they are. He shouts right in Zeon's face, asking if he is just going to roll over and die because he was not blessed with a higher rank. Zeon stands there, taking the verbal beatdown. The word blessing echoes in his head as he thinks about his crappy life. The old man tells him to stop whining and start thinking. Having all your limbs intact is a blessing enough, now use them. Zeon stares at his hands. The old man is right. Whining about rank is not going to get him through the next mile. Daorden gets right in his personal space, telling him to break the limits he has set for himself and figure it out. Zeon clenches his jaw. He is tired of being the dumbass. It is time to actually use that brain of his. The training gets physical. Daorden is pushing him to the brink, making it clear that he either learns or he dies right here. He looks down at his boots as they sink into the dunes. There has to be a way to manipulate this environment to his advantage. He focuses his mana, and suddenly the sand around him begins to swirl and rise. The training is starting to pay off. He realizes his range is about 5 meters. Within that circle, the desert is his to command. The sand is up to his ankles. He thinks if he can figure this out, he can walk across the dunes without any effort at all. Idea. If he condenses the sand underneath his boots, he can make it solid like a road. No more sinking. It works. He starts skipping across the surface, practically flying. He exclaims his feet don't sink, and it is easy to walk. But the victory is short-lived. He realizes condensing the sand is burning through his mana reserves way too fast. He tries a more efficient approach, focusing mana directly into his legs to lightly manipulate the sand only where he steps. The old man watches from the side, a rare hint of approval on his face. He thinks, oh, sweet youth watching the kid struggle. Zeon's luck runs out, and he takes a spectacular tumble into the dirt. He groans. Trying and failing is part of the process. Daorden notes that despite being F rank, Zeon's raw power and mana control are actually hitting the ED range. High growth potential. Xian picks himself up, grinning despite the face full of grit. He exclaims it is working. He is finally getting it. He runs up to the old man, bragging about how much easier walking is now. He is totally feeling himself. He gets real smug, taunting the old man, asking if he can do this, and saying he is so comfortable right now. And of course, he immediately pays for it. He loses concentration and faceplants into the sand again. Pride goeth before the fall. The old man just towers over his prone body. He tells him not to waste his energy, or he is dead. He tells him to stop waddling, you annoying brat. Xian is gasping for air on the ground. Daorden screams at him to breathe before he passes out. Training is not over yet. Xian wakes up face down in the dirt, probably wishing he'd just stayed in bed today. He mutters, wondering where he is, clearly still in a daze from the dungeon collapse. Daorden is just chilling nearby, looking like he did not just fight a literal dragon. He tells him he is finally awake, dumbass. Way to keep it classy, Grandpa. Xian starts complaining about being covered in wounds, but the old man just tosses something at him. Beef jerky? Not exactly a health potion, but we will take it. It's basically a slab of dried meat. In a desert world, this is practically a 5-star meal. The old man starts telling a story from when he was young while Xian lies there like a starfish. He commands him to eat while you listen. Back in his day, survival was not an issue even if you were weak. Protecting the weak was actually a point of pride. Must be nice living in the pre-apocalypse. But the world changed, and now common sense is a death sentence. Xian looks like he's struggling to even chew that jerky. Daorden hits him with the hard truth. Stay lying there and die, or get up on your own 2 feet. He's the definition of sink or swim. Xian finally manages to sit up and take a bite. Thud. That jerky is so hard, it sounds like a rock hitting the floor. He stares at the old man, realization starting to hit. This guy is not just a powerful warrior, he's an ancient relic of a lost world. Xian wonders just how many years and memories the old man has piled up. He's like a living history book that can also punch your head off. Daorden is not even chewing, he is just letting the jerky soften with his spit. Gross? Maybe. Efficient? Definitely. Xian takes the hint and starts eating too. He realizes the old man is not going to give him the fish, he is going to make him learn how to catch it. It's a tough way to learn, but in this desert, it's the only way to stay alive. The sun sets, and the desert night takes over. Time for some quality bonding time, or more likely, more insults. Xian is parched. He begs Gramps to give him just one more. The only reply he gets is to shut his trap. Brutal. Xian is shivering under his own arms, realizing that desert nights are cold as hell. He's having a real bad time right now. The old man is just sitting there like a statue, while Xian struggles to keep his teeth from chattering. He grumbles that he forgot the desert nights are cold. Xian barely got any sleep because the crazy old man was busy talking to his sword all night. Yeah, talking to inanimate objects is a great sign. Xian is staring at the water bottle. The old man did not share a single drop and kept it all for himself. He grumbles, not again. Xian is reaching his limit. Being thirsty, cold, and insulted is a terrible combo. No wonder the old man slept well. He used his own clothes as a bed. Xian is left crouching in the dirt like a gargoyle. He vows to get super strong just so he can get some revenge on this psycho old geezer. Spite is a powerful motivator. Daorden just sighs. Fine, dumbass. Can you feel it yet? Feel what? The sand in his teeth? Xian looks around, confused. Feel what? He's clearly not sensing the danger yet. Then he feels it. A vibration in the ground. It's faint, but it's definitely there. There is more than one. Xian looks up, his pupils narrowing. Something is coming, and it is bringing friends. Shadows move across the dunes. A pack of predators is closing in on their location. Great horned hyenas. These things are nasty, and usually nocturnal, but they've been flushed out early. Close up on a hyena drooling. Daorden asks if the dumbass thinks he can survive this on his own. The alpha hyena growls, ready to pounce. These things look like they have not eaten in weeks. Xian puts on a brave face. He asks if he needs his help. He does not need any of it. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer, buddy. He charges headfirst into the pack. Because I am gonna survive on my own. Xian prep his sand ability, his teeth bared in a snarl. He clicks his tongue. He's not going down without a fight. He unleashes a sand blast that knocks several hyenas back into the air. Talk about a solid opener. His eye glows with mana. He's starting to find his rhythm, but the pack is huge. The hyenas are relentless, leaping from all directions. It's like trying to fight a furry hurricane. He calls them crazy bastards, asking just how many are they. Xian is shouting just to keep his adrenaline up. He's taking hits now, his clothes getting shredded. He realizes he's going to die from mana loss before they even bite him to death. He stops for a split second to reassess. Raw power is not the play here. He needs efficient attacks and better mana management. Think. He's racking his brain for a way out of this hairy situation. He looks at his hands. There has to be a way to use the sand more effectively without burning all his energy. One of the hyenas lunges, and Xian has to punch it midair. Hey, you asshole. I'm trying to think here. He looks at his arm. It's covered in small bite marks. He mutters that crazy bastard made holes in my arm. Blood drips from the wounds. He stares at them for a second too long. A hole? The gears are turning. He's found his inspiration in the most painful way possible. The hyenas circle him, sensing that their prey is slowing down. They're ready for the final meal. Zeon turns his back to them, or so it seems. Right, a hole. I just need to make a hole. He reaches out his hand, ready to test his new strategy against the charging pack. The monsters are literal inches from his face, but he has got that calm, main character energy now. He says, like this, as the sand starts to swirl. Zeon is finally catching on. He realizes that a messy kill is just a waste of energy. A small, precise hole through the head gets the job done just as well. In the heat of battle, your mana is your lifeline. If you panic and burn through it too fast, you are basically just RSVPing to your own funeral. Fight efficiently. Zeon is dancing through the pack now, using the absolute minimum amount of mana to take these mongrels down. Deorden lets out a boisterous laugh. He's actually impressed to see the idiot making some progress, even if it's just baby steps. One of the hyenas is practically on top of him, but Zeon is not flinching. He's too busy being smug about his new combat philosophy. The mongrel looks absolutely rabid. It is clear these things do not care about efficiency, they just want a snack. Deorden decides the warm-up is over. He pulls his blade, calling them little bastards who need to be taught a lesson about biting people. Zeon's eyes go wide. He knows exactly what happens when the old man stops smiling and starts swinging. Zeon shouts, "Wait, that grandpa is." He barely has time to scramble out of the way before the real destruction begins. The old man lets out a roar that probably echoes across the entire desert. "Shall be slaughtered here." Red energy slashes fill the air. It's not even a fight anymore, it's a meat grinder made of mana. Hyenas are sent flying in every direction as the ground itself is pulverized. Zeon is just trying to not get caught in the blender. Zeon watches the carnage, sweat dripping down his face. That freaking grandpa, seriously, he's realizing just how big the gap is between them. A massive smoking crater is all that is left of the pack. Deorden did not just win, he erased the competition. Zeon stares at the old man's back, wondering if he's even human. Doing that without using a specific skill is just illegal levels of strength. Zeon makes a mental note to act up less from now on. If he pisses the old man off, he's definitely becoming part of the scenery. Suddenly, the actual leader of the pack shows up. This one is huge and looks like it drinks lightning for breakfast. The alpha hyena is crackling with electricity. It lunges at Deorden with a speed that defies its size. Is this a force field? Zeon is bugging out as the old man gets engulfed in a massive electrical discharge. The lightning blast is blinding, lighting up the desert night like a miniature sun. Zeon is screaming for Grandpa, thinking the old man might have finally met his match. Deorden is just standing there, looking bored. He literally took a high-rank monster's ultimate attack to the face and did not even singe his beard. Zeon is buffering. His brain cannot compute the level of tankiness he is witnessing. The old man calls the attack exhilarating, a massage. Talk about the ultimate flex. Now that the massage is over, die. Deorden's eyes glow red. The alpha hyena just realized it messed up. With a single, casual strike, the boss of the desert is turned into a memory. No drama, just instant deletion. Zeon starts laughing hysterically. It's better for his sanity to just ignore how insane this monster of a man actually is. Deorden looks over his shoulder. "Oh, you are alive, idiot." He sounds almost disappointed he does not have a quieter travel companion. He begins harvesting the horn from the alpha. It apparently has a lightning attribute and makes for a fine weapon if refined well. Zeon is now wearing the alpha's head as a hood. It's a bold-fashioned choice, but in the wasteland, drip is secondary to survival. Deorden tosses him a dagger. "From this point on, you shall gather your own food. No more free beef jerky, kid." Lesson of the day: hyena muscles are toxic, but the flank is safe. Pro tip: do not eat the glowing parts. The sun is rising, and the old man is already moving. No rest for the weary or the idiots. Zeon gives a spirited yes. He's determined to keep up this time. He's humming to himself, actually enjoying the morning air. He's starting to get used to this crazy life. "I am a bit thirsty, but I have plenty of food." Plus, he's mastered his new skill, sandwalking. Look at that form. He's gliding across the dunes like he's on a paved sidewalk. Level up! Zeon gets cocky, asking if Grandpa is jealous of his smooth moves. Someone's forgotten who saved his life 10 minutes ago. He's laughing and dodging invisible threats, feeling like the main character. He shouts, "I dodged this." And he faceplants into a dune. Gravity 1, Zeon 0. The embarrassment is real. He went from Desert King to face first in the sand in record time. He pushes himself up, spitting out sand and trying to act like it was all part of the plan. He says, "I can joke around a little, can't I?" Suddenly, Zeon stops. He smells something, humidity, in the middle of a literal ocean of sand. Deorden is staring at the same spot. He sensed it too. The air is definitely different over that next dune. He wonders if something is there, right beyond this. Zeon is scramble up the slope, his thirst-induced hallucinations hoping for the best. The heat haze is thick, but there is a definite change in the atmosphere. They reach the crest of the dune and look down. The golden light of the sun is hitting something reflective. He exclaims, "It is really here, the long-rumored thing." Xion's eyes are practically sparkling. Oasis, a beautiful, shimmering pool of water. It's like a miracle in the middle of hell. Look at this view. After literal hours of trekking through nothing but dust, they finally see it on the horizon. It's not a mirage this time, a real, shimmering pool of water tucked between the dunes. Xion's eyes are practically popping out of his head. He exclaims, "It is real." The oasis. He's shouting like he just won the lottery, and honestly, in this desert, he basically did. He chuckles. Water? How long has it been without it? He's booking it down the slope before Grandpa can even say anything. Daorden just watches him go with a click of his tongue. He knows something the kid does not. Finally, Xion reaches the water's edge. He's about to dive into literal heaven. Splash. He hits the water head first. That refreshing coolness must feel like a rebirth. He mumbles, "I can feel it, floating in pure bliss." The heat of the flaming desert is finally fading away. This refreshing feeling is spreading all through his body. It's the first moment of peace he's had since this journey started. "I am happy." Wait, his eye snaps open. Something is not right. He thinks, is that a light? It is so bright and warm. He's staring deep into the depths of the pool. Why am I feeling drowsy all of a sudden? Uh-oh. That's not a good sign in a world that tries to kill you every 5 minutes. "Wake up, you shithead." Grandpa's roar cuts through the daze like a thunderclap. Daorden is already on the move, rushing toward the water. He looks genuinely worried for once. He dives in after the kid. If Grandpa is moving this fast, things are about to get really messy. A massive silhouette erupts from the water right behind them. This oasis just turned into a dinner plate. Grandpa grabs Xion by the scruff of his neck, hauling him out of the kill zone just in time. Behold the monster of the pool. It's like a giant prehistoric anglerfish made of nightmares and teeth. Daorden is not just running, he's counterattacking. He draws his blade as he lands on the shore. He stands between Xion and the beast, looking absolutely ready to turn this fish into sushi. One grip on the handle. You can practically feel the mana gathering for a massive strike. KO boom. He delivers a horizontal slash that creates a literal tidal wave. That fish never stood a chance. Xion is sitting on the sand, totally drenched and shaking. Holy crap, that is a rainbow forms over the monster's carcass. Rainbow that I've heard about. Yeah, not exactly the romantic kind, kid. That is a full gorge. Grandpa explains it uses light to lure prey into a trap. Total bait and switch. Daorden's face is hidden in shadow, but you can tell he's fuming. He's about to give a legendary lecture. "Did you forget everything I taught you already?" He's screaming at the top of his lungs now. "Do you really think you were some hotshot now?" He's getting right in Xion's face. The tough love is getting real tough. Idiots like you are the ones who die first in a desert like this. Do you understand, you dumbass? Xion is completely defeated. He mutters, "Yes. Talk about a reality check. Skin it." Wait, what? Grandpa wants him to perform surgery on this giant monster fish? A full gorge is a C-rank monster. Apparently, their belly skin is perfect material for a desert robe. Xion, being the lovable idiot he is, asks if Grandpa needs a robe. Grandpa just lets out a long, exhausted sigh. "Not for me, for you." He's literally asking if Xion's brain is petrified at this point. Xion is hiccuping and apologizing while crying. Poor guy thought he was getting a spa day and ended up in a butcher shop. Grandpa points out that while it's changed, a full gorge is basically just a giant, ugly fish from the old world. Xion stares at the massive mound of meat and scales. That is a fish? He's really struggling with the biology here. He looks closer at the creature. It's huge, scaly, and definitely not something you can just peel like an orange. Xion starts hacking away with his dagger. It's like trying to cut a car tire with a butter knife. He's probably shouting at the smell or the difficulty. Grandpa is definitely judging him in the background. He realizes a regular knife won't cut it, pun intended. He stops and focuses. He needs to use his mana if he wants to get through this hide. He thinks he needs to focus my mana on the knife so it cuts better. He's actually learning to apply his skills to real-world tasks. He gets another idea. Thin out the monster's own scales to use them as needles. That's some high IQ survival crafting right there. And use its tendons as string. He's basically becoming a post-apocalyptic tailor on the fly. This is it. His eye glows with the thrill of discovery. He's finally pieced it together. The result is, well, it's a pile of junk. Grandpa just calls him a dumbass again for turning a C-rank fish into literal trash. Daorden is finally satisfied with the haul. He decides they've got enough material and it is time to head out. The night sky looks absolutely gorgeous, but do not let the view fool you. This desert is still a death trap. Look at Xion. He's finally finished his masterpiece. He's celebrating like he just won a fashion award. Welcome to Xion Boutique. It only took him 8 failed attempts, but this robe is actually looking pretty fresh. Grandpa calls him a dumbass again and reaches for the robe. Xion is not having it, saying, "No, I won't give it to you. This is my robe." The old man tells him to cut the nonsense and hands him a massive, gross-looking organ. "Eat this." Xion is horrified. Apparently, this thing is the Fulgorge's gall, and Grandpa wants him to stuff it all down. Zeon tries to argue, but the old man hits him with the classic eat or die ultimatum. Talk about a forced dietary plan. He reluctantly takes the massive, squishy gall. His arm is shaking, probably from the weight of his impending regrets. Down the hatch. Zeon gulps it down, trying not to think about what he's actually swallowing. It's bitter as hell, but Zeon tells himself it's better than catching another beatdown from the old man. He looks down at the remains of the medicine. Something is definitely starting to feel weird in his stomach. Zeon says it is like eating clouds, and he is not even feeling full despite the size of that thing. He's scarfing it down now, and Grandpa is just judging him silently. He calls him dumbass. Daeordan drops a terrifying line. Time to burn to death. Wait, excuse me? That was supposed to be medicine. Suddenly, a fiery glow erupts from Zeon's chest. It looks like he swallowed a miniature sun. Zeon lets out an agonizing scream as the heat takes over. His internal mana is going absolutely nuclear. What the hell? My body's heating up. This is not just a simple power-up, it is a full-on meltdown. Internal view. His body's mana is going berserk, wriggling inside him like a living creature. This looks excruciating. Daeordan just stands there telling him to bear with it. Real helpful, Gramps, thanks a lot. The scene is quiet, but Zeon's screams probably carry for miles. Life and death are cycling through him right now. We see these weird bubble-like things. Fulgorge is reborn and returns over and over. What kind of cosmic horror is this? Zeon is flailing on the ground, swearing at the old man. Save me. He's reaching out, eyes rolling back. This is officially the worst meal of his life. Daeordan just watches him from the shadows, looking totally unimpressed by the drama. Even as the stars come out, Zeon is still ranting about killing the psycho old geezer. Grandpa just tells him to shut up and sleep. Zeon finally wakes up on the sand, blinking at the bright morning sun. He survived. He sees the old man's face hanging upside down over him. Are you up, dumbass? Zeon jumps nearly 10 feet into the air. He screams, you scared me. Grandpa asks if he had a good sleep, and Zeon admits he did not sleep. He literally just passed out from the pain. Daeordan asks how his body feels now that the internal forest fire has died down. Zeon clenches his fist, expecting the usual weakness, but something's different. Very different. My body feels light as sand grains. His muscles feel like tempered wire, and his mana is a literal storm. He cannot believe how much he grew in such a short time. He's radiating energy like a total Chad. Grandpa explains it was all thanks to that Fulgorge gal. I guess the near-death experience was worth it. It's a rare, precious medicine for desert travelers. Caravans value it as much as mana stones. Zeon is stunned that the old man gave something so precious to him. He's actually showing some gratitude for once. Grandpa is back to his usual self, saying it is only because Zeon is weak as hell and needs to be somewhat useful. Zeon pledges to become the most reliable companion ever. Daeordan just tells him to shut up and finish eating the fish. Days go by. The sun is high, and the desert is as unforgiving as ever. They've spent 4 days feasting on the giant fish. I bet Zeon never wants to see a scale again after this. Time to hit the road. Let us get going now, dumbass. Adventure awaits whether Zeon likes it or not. Zeon gives a confident smirk. He's feeling better than ever and ready for whatever the wasteland throws at them. All right, they start their march across the dunes, looking like a proper party of adventurers. The wind is howling across the sand. The atmosphere is getting real intense. Zeon is standing tall against the elements. He's come a long way from the kid who was hiding on a bus. A massive sandstorm hits, but Zeon is just vibing. With my power, it feels like a cool breeze to me. Grandpa is walking through the storm like it is nothing, not even slowing down. The man is built different. Grandpa has not spoken in days. Zeon wonders if he is having some kind of midlife crisis in the middle of a storm. They've been walking for 2 weeks straight without rest. Zeon's starting to wonder if the old man even knows where they are going. Suddenly, a massive insect monster jumps out. He yells, "Is that crazy old man lost?" Zeon does not even use his mana. He just lands a heavy punch that sends the bug's head spinning. Shut up, man. He's panting, realizing they've been at this for a while. Then he hears a creepy clicking sound. He looks over his shoulder. Something even bigger is lurking in the sand. A giant, black insectoid monster rises from the dunes. It looks sturdy, but Zeon is definitely not scared. He hoped they could pass by quietly, but it looks like peace was never an option. The mana vision reveals a whole swarm of these things surrounding him. These guys are serious. Zeon drops into a stance. If you are coming at me, be quick. If I am late, the old man will kill me. He takes off like a bullet. His new sandwalking skill is making him insanely fast on the dunes. The battle begins. Zeon is diving headfirst into the swarm, ready to test his upgraded body. Opening with a nice peaceful desert shot. Just kidding. This place is a total hellhole. Zeon is trekking through the dunes, and honestly, he is looking way more at home than when he first fell in. He's even snacking on the move. He thinks it feels like a cool breeze with his power. But the old man is a whole different beast. He's just walking ahead without a care or a break. Zeon is getting suspicious. He wonders if this is a midlife crisis. He has not spoken in days. Grandpa's just in the zone, kid. 2 weeks of straight walking. Zeon is starting to doubt the GPS. He wonders if he even knows the way. Suddenly, a wild giant ant appears. Zeon's immediate thought is that crazy old man lost? No time for questions, only punching. Zeon delivers a solid hit right to its face. Shut up, man. He's back to complaining 5 seconds later. He groans. How much longer do we have to walk? It never ends, does it? Wait, his danger sense is tingling. Another ant jumps out, but Zeon notes it's pretty sturdy. These bugs are not messing around today. I hoped we could pass by quietly, but that is not going to be easy this time. He flips on the mana vision and, oh boy, he's completely surrounded. These guys are serious. He drops into a low stance. If you are coming at me, be quick. Bold words for a guy in the middle of a swarm. Zeon's real motivation? Fear of Grandpa. If I am late, the old man will kill me. He unleashes a series of sand pillars. It's literal bug squashing on a massive scale. Time for the big guns. Blaster. Boom. He just vaporized half the dune. Sand for the sand god. Zeon catches his breath as the dust settles. He thinks anyway, days with sandstorms are the best, since there is sand everywhere you look. He looks around and realizes he's alone. He wonders where the old man went, shouting, "Hey old man, that is cheap." He keeps ranting at the empty desert. No wonder you were still alone at your age. Oh, he's definitely dead if the old man heard that. Sudden silence. No. Realization hits. He did not hear me, did he? He apologizes if he heard that. Yeah, keep backpedaling, Zeon. He's got a 10-meter detection range now, but it is not enough. He stays on guard, never losing focus. The desert is quiet, way too quiet for my liking. Then, he senses something different. Not just a beast, but something far worse. What he feels now is pure terror. It's a massive red cloud on his internal radar. It's a literal army of giant ants, thousands of them. Good luck with that, Zeon. He wonders where this massive army even came from. He goes back to panic mode immediately. OLD, man, there are too many of them. He looks back and finds Daerden just sitting there, watching. He's literally the "this is fine" meme right now. Zeon tries to man up. No, how long am I going to keep whining for the old man like a kid? He realizes this is a setup. There's no way he did not sense these things coming, which means this is a quest. He gets that crazy main character grin. A bug is still just a bug. He charges in, but gets immediately slapped across the face by a giant leg. Reality check. He's struggling, but he is not giving up. He's right in the thick of it now. One of them pins him down. This is getting real ugly, real fast. More ants pile on. He shouts and asks just how many of these bastards are there. He's buried under a mountain of bugs. He tells them to take me on one-on-one. He's almost completely swallowed by the swarm. He groans. Suddenly, a massive sand pillar erupts from under the pile. Get off him, you pests. A cloud of dust and debris obscures the battlefield. Is he even okay in there? Zeon leaps into the air like a rocket. Talk about a dramatic escape from a certain doom. He lands on a high rock. Crazy. This is basically an anthill. First, I need to get to high ground and assess the situation. Good plan, if you ignore the things in the sky. He gets blindsided by a blur of motion. Wait, since when could ants fly? A flying ant grabs him right out of the air. It's like a predatory drone strike. He's being carried away into the sky. This was definitely not in the simulation. Zeon's world is spinning. You're kidding, right? There is no way they can do that. The flying ant is taking him for a ride he never asked for. Hold on tight, kid. And then it just drops him. Gravity, his oldest and most reliable enemy. He hits the ground with a sickening crunch. That's definitely gonna leave a mark. He's hacking up blood, barely clinging to consciousness. He's broken, bloody, and surrounded. This is a very sad trombone moment for our hero. Daerden is just chilling nearby. Zeon managed to crawl back to him. Zeon looks up with a bloody, unhinged grin. He's finally snapped and finds his second wind. You better be watching how I survive this. Now that's the main character spirit. Daerden finally stands up. Yeah, keep that attitude, you idiot. Grandpa starts a monologue about how Zeon's ability is an unparalleled blessing, and every greedy fool is going to want a piece of him. He warns him that he's basically become the finest prey in this entire wasteland. If there is one thing that has not changed, it is the greed of fools. There is nothing they covet more than your ability. Zeon jumps back into the fray with a new fire in his eyes. It is time to survive as an awakened one. Daerden looks out over the ruins as a massive beam of light hits the horizon. Try surviving until the very end. Grandpa is overlooking the ruins, getting all philosophical about the world. He tells Zeon to try surviving until the very end, which sounds more like a threat than advice. Flashback time. 100 years ago, a literal pillar of fire turned the world into a giant BBQ. Talk about a bad day for humanity. The tragedy was recorded as just a bright shining light, but the reality was instantaneous total destruction. Cities were leveled in a heartbeat. Grandpa talks about memories etched into bones, watching loved ones get torn apart right before your eyes. This series just went from 0 to 100 on the trauma scale. Even now, those moments remain vivid. We see a close-up of hands reaching out through the ash. Survival in this world is basically a life sentence of carrying that burden. Daeordan looks like he's lived through all of it. He says surviving means crossing an endless boundary between life and death while carrying all that weight. Heavy stuff, man. Back to the present, and the old man is smirking. He's been through hell, so watching Zeon struggle with some bugs is probably just high-quality entertainment for him. Zeon is right in the middle of a sand vortex, taking on the swarm. He realizes he can't lose against these pests if he wants to impress Grandpa. Look at that unhinged face. Zeon is officially losing it, and I'm here for it. He screams that they are all screwed. One of the giant ants tries to lunge, but Zeon is already 3 steps ahead. His mana vision is working overtime. New move unlocked, super high-pressure sand missile. It's basically a drill made of sand and spite. He fires them off like a Gatling gun. Multiple sand drills are cutting through the air, headed straight for the swarm. The missiles are shredding the bugs. Zeon explains that if you harness rotation and wind power, you can amplify the strength dozens of times over. Nerdy, but effective. He lets out a massive surge of power, looking like he's finally finding his groove. The ants are getting absolutely cooked. Zeon is cackling while he slaughters the swarm. This will end all of you. It will be your end for failing to kill me before I grew even stronger. The aftermath is a literal sand graveyard. Zeon is standing tall, but he looks like he's pushed himself way too hard. Daeordan is just watching from the sidelines, looking like he's watching a kid at a playground. That brat is awfully excited. Zeon starts to relax, thinking the fight is over. He sees a few stray sand plumes and figures he's the king of the desert now. Big mistake. The camera pans out to show the total carnage. Zeon is a tiny speck in a massive crater of his own making. Suddenly, Zeon's knees buckle. He was talking big, but the toll of that high-pressure sand move is hitting him hard. He's huffing and puffing, bragging to Grandpa about how many he killed. Dude, do not celebrate yet. The boss music has not stopped playing. Suddenly, his face drops. How? Something just blindsided him from the one spot he was not checking. A giant ant stinger comes out of nowhere. Zeon did not sense any presence at all. The stinger sinks into his back, and Zeon realizes his mistake instantly. Poison? This just went from a victory lap to a death run real fast. The poison is working fast. Zeon can't control his mana anymore. The flow is completely disrupted. It's like trying to drive a car with no steering wheel. He screams in rage as the ants swarm him again. Do you think I will lose to this? A massive ant mandible slams into him. Zeon is getting tossed around like a rag doll now that his mana is offline. Everything goes dark. Zeon's eyes are closing. It looks like the normal life the old man offered is looking pretty good right about now. He wakes up in a dark, damp cavern. Where am I? He looks around and sees a wall of holes. Welcome to the ant nest, kid. He hears a weird skittering sound. Something is watching him from the shadows. It's a larva. A giant, disgusting, maggot-looking ant baby. And it's definitely hungry. Zeon is paralyzed on the ground. He can see the larva crawling towards his arm, and he can't do a single thing about it. Crack. The larva sinks its mandibles right into his wrist. Zeon's arm is literally being used as a chew toy for an insect toddler. I cannot move. Zeon is actually crying now. At this rate, I will be devoured, and I will die. This is a total nightmare scenario. I guess. His vision is starting to fade. The poison and the larva are slowly finishing what the sandstorm started. It is over. The darkness is closing in. Zeon is giving up. He's reached the end of his road in this shitty world. The larvae keep chirping. More of them are gathering for the feast. It is a grisly scene of nature taking its course. Wait, Zeon's fist clenches in the dirt. Even on the verge of death, he's got that one spark left. Adult ants enter the chamber. Zeon is watching them through blurry eyes, realizing his life is flashing before him. He starts laughing again. That unhinged energy is back. Even when my life is flashing before my eyes, not a single good memory comes to mind. This is so unfair. I cannot die like this. His rank crest starts glowing with a blinding golden light. YOU ants, here comes the rage boost. Kaboom! A massive sand explosion erupts from Zeon, blowing the larva and the nest apart. The adult ants are screeching in terror as the cavern begins to shake. Zeon is no longer the victim. A massive sand projectile crushes one of the ants against the wall. Zeon is through playing nice. The entire nest is collapsing. Huge boulders are falling from the ceiling as Zeon's power goes completely off the charts. He stands at the bottom of a massive vortex, mana swirling around him like a god. Now, try surviving this. Zeon is staring at his hands in disbelief. The rank up cleared the poison out of his system and brought his stamina back from the brink. Level up alert. Our boy finally hit rank E, and you can see the new crest glowing on his arm. He can feel the mana surging through him. It is on a completely different level than before, but the fight is far from over. His eyes narrow as he locks onto his target. He's not a scared rookie anymore. A massive armored ant, the Wolf Queen, is standing in his way. Even with the power-up, Zeon realized his last attack did not leave a single scratch. The ground shatters as the beast strikes. Zeon is losing it. How the hell is this thing breaking through his defenses so easily? He gets blasted back by the sheer force of the impact. This bug is no joke. The Wolf Queen is not giving him any room to breathe, charging in with those massive mandibles. Zeon is scrambling, barely keeping his head attached. That is crazy. Yeah, buddy, welcome to C rank. He hits the dirt, hands shaking as he tries to find an opening. The monster is right there, staring him down. Zeon admits to himself that a direct fight is a losing battle. He looks through the beast's legs, the gears in his head turning. If he cannot break the armor, he has to think around it. The plan? He does not need to break the shell, he just needs to rip the soft parts right out from under it. Zeon pulls off a mid-air spin, dodging a lethal strike by a hair's breadth. He lunges forward, grabbing onto the beast's joints. He is determined to either twist it out of its shell or take the whole thing off. The Wolf Queen lets out an unearthly screech that would make anyone's blood run cold. Suddenly, its mouth starts glowing with a terrifying white light. This is not a regular bite. Zeon is right in the blast zone as the energy builds up. He is holding on for dear life. A massive sonic screech hits him point blank. His brain is literally rattling inside his skull. Blood starts pouring from his eyes. High frequency, low frequency, whatever it is, his eardrums are probably toast. A massive vortex of sand and energy erupts. The cave is falling apart from the sheer volume of power. Zeon is glaring through the chaos, looking like a total demon. He says, "You bastard." He is not backing down even if his head explodes. He's going all in for one final, desperate trade. Let us see who dies first. He's fully committed to the suicide mission now. He throws everything into a final charge. It's him or the bug. K-a-boom. The screen goes white as they collide. Zeon is screaming his lungs out as the world shatters. Silence. Zeon is drifting through a dark void. He can barely feel his own body anymore. He opens his eyes, staring into the abyss. He is wondering if he actually managed to pull it off. He reaches out his hands, but they feel miles away. The adrenaline is finally wearing off, leaving nothing but pain. He's falling, or maybe floating. Either way, he's totally spent. Suddenly, a hand grabs him. Daorden is looking down at him, calling him weak as hell as usual. He drags the half-dead Zeon along, complaining about how he's gonna get a crooked face sleeping in the dirt. Real father figure energy here. Zeon gives a weak, bloody smile. He sarcastically tells the old man he'll let him have the last hit next time. Daorden just laughs. He's actually proud of the kid for surviving a C-rank beast that was way out of his league. The Wolf Queen lies dead in the background, a massive sword pinning it to the ground. Looks like Gramps did help out a little. Zeon is just nodding and smiling because his eardrums are completely blown out. He can't hear a word the old man is saying. Daorden realizes the kid is literally deaf right now. This journey just keeps getting better and better. Zeon is stumbling along, asking old man, "Where are you?" while the guy is standing right behind him. Pure comedy. They walk through the ruins of the nest. It's a somber sight after all that high-octane violence. Zeon spots something glowing in the rubble. A mysterious purple orb? New loot drop unlocked. He points at it, trying to get Grandpa's attention. "Hey, what is this?" Gramps is just sitting there with a massive egg. "Eat it. It is strawberry flavor." "Bro, I do not think that is strawberry." Zeon reads the sketchy writing on the wall. "Eat it? It is good for you?" "Yeah, because random messages in monster nests are always super trustworthy." He holds up the glowing purple egg, looking completely skeptical. "Is it edible?" "Buddy, at this point, you have eaten a dragon heart, so why not?" He tries to check with Grandpa, hoping this will not be another near-death by internal combustion situation like the last meal. Daorden looks him dead in the eye and tells him it will kill him. Of course, Zeon's eardrums are still ringing, so he missed the warning entirely. Zeon talked himself into it, figuring the old man would not just watch him die. Famous last thoughts, kid. He takes the plunge and gulps it down. He does not even know what a strawberry is, but he is about to find out. Wait, he actually likes it. He's cheering because it tastes amazing. Is this a rare W for Zeon? Spoke too soon. His pupil dilates and that oh crap realization hits him like a freight train. Suddenly, massive red spikes erupt from his skin. The narrator explains the queen ant's eggs are pure poison. The toxin literally forces your intestines to turn inside out while your organs rupture. That is the most meta way to die ever. A helpful info box explains that even a tiny amount causes the human body to violently invert. This is not just a stomachache. Zeon is writhing on the ground in total agony. The pain is so intense he's literally going mad before the end. "What the hell? Did you make me eat?" He's screaming at Grandpa while his body is being shredded from the inside. Daorden just picks his ear, complaining that the kid is too noisy. This man is a literal menace. Zeon's face is swollen and bruised as he struggles to breathe. He's wondering how anyone gets used to this kind of training. He's coughing up a dark, nasty sludge. Every fiber of his being is fighting against the poison. The betrayal hits harder than the toxin. He really thought he could finally trust someone in this shitty world. He lies there by the campfire, staring at the old man's silhouette. The silence of the desert is deafening. Zeon is actually crying. He's calling himself an idiot for believing a crazy old man would actually help him. We get a wide shot of the dark cavern. It's a lonely place to realize your mentor is trying to kill you for fun. Meanwhile, Daorden is busy harvesting loot from the dead queen, prioritizing the grind over the dying kid classic. He winds up a punch, channeling that massive red mana into his fist. He shatters the queen's remaining armor with a single strike. The raw power is just terrifying. He pulls out a massive, glowing blue mana stone. This thing is the size of a bowling ball. This one is a jackpot, I see. Daorden is all smiles now that he's got his payday. He stands over the carcass, deciding he might as well strip the whole thing for parts. Efficient. Suddenly he stops. He feels a shift in the mana behind him. The idiot is doing something. Grandpa gets real deep for a second. He says that in this world, if you are weak, you just die. That is fate. Zeon is still face down, but the sand around him is starting to vibrate. He's not dead yet. The old man just stares. He's waiting to see if the kid actually has the will to overcome the poison. Aren't you well aware too? He's challenging Zeon's survival instinct one more time. Zeon's eyes flutter open. He's looking up through the dust, looking like he's back from the grave. Yo, are you awake, dumbass? Grandpa's welcome back greeting is as charming as ever. Boom. Zeon does not say a word, he just erupts in a massive sand explosion. He's officially pissed off. The dust clears and Zeon is standing there, radiating fury. Grandpa just calls him a rude brat. Daorden's eyes glow. He realizes the kid is actually serious about trying to take him down now. Zeon launches a whole volley of sand drills. He's not holding anything back this time. The drills surround the old man from every angle. It's a literal cage of pressurized sand. Grandpa just stands there with that smug grin. He's been waiting for the kid to show this kind of backbone. Daorden is wasting no time roasting his old friend. He laughs at Pabilsa, pointing out that he's lost even more teeth since the last time they met. Pabilsa just sighs, retorting that Daorden is the real freak of nature. Imagine being over 100 years old and still looking like you could bench press a mountain. The conversation turns serious as they discuss the scavengers roaming around the territory lately. Apparently, things have been getting a bit crowded in the desert. Daorden scoffs, calling Pabilsa foolish for wasting his years fleeing from mere scavengers. He clearly has zero respect for a defensive strategy. Zeon is having a minor existential crisis in the background. He's wondering why these geezers are so overwhelmingly strong compared to everyone else he has met. Pabilsa cuts the chatter with a sharp whistle that echoes across the dunes. Something big is about to happen. The sand begins to part as if by magic, revealing a hidden pathway beneath the massive turtle. Zeon is absolutely geeking out. Whoa, that is cool. Even in a death world, some things are still impressive. A massive ramp lowers, inviting them into the belly of the beast. Welcome to Archelon, the moving fortress. Zeon peeks in cautiously, still acting like he's expecting a jump scare at any moment. He tries to convince himself to play cool and just stay put while they're here. Do not touch anything, kid. Pabilsa notices the tag-along and asks if Zeon is some kind of subordinate. Daorden's endorsement is brutal as usual. He says he just picked up some trash for the sake of the environment. Thanks, Gramps. Pabilsa finds it hilarious. For a lone wolf like Daorden to actually bring a student along, the world must be ending. He notes with a grim smile that the entire world seems to be turning upside down lately. Zeon steps inside and his jaw literally hits the floor. Whoa, what in the world? It's not just a cave, it's a full-on industrial city built directly into the turtle's shell. This is some high-level engineering. Pabilsa explains that the people living here are the Mott kin. They're all his descendants, a whole tribe living and breathing on the back of a giant monster. Pabilsa admits that while they think they're chosen, they're actually nothing without Archelon. Daorden doubles down on the negativity, calling them a bunch of rascals who will be abandoned the second Pabilsa dies. Way to keep the mood up. Pabilsa's expression darkens. Let us save that talk for later. Some topics are even too heavy for these two. They enter a lavish inner chamber that looks more like a palace than a desert hideout. Pabilsa gets straight to the point, asking to see the goods Daorden mentioned earlier. Daorden summons a swirling black vortex in the palm of his hand. Here comes the payday. A literal mountain of gold, weapons, and treasure spills out onto the floor. This man has clearly been busy. Zeon is horrified, asking how many lives were taken for all this. Grandpa just casually replies that Zeon will soon be included in the count. Zeon is still stuck on the magic. He asks if Grandpa is a spellcaster and where he was hiding all that loot. Daorden can't believe he has to explain what a subspace is, thinking he had a massive dumbass with him this entire time. Pabilsa picks up a massive fang and inspects it. Wonderful, as expected. He notes that every single item is a flawless, superior-grade material. Daorden does not pick up junk. Daorden cuts the praise short, ready to start the negotiation. How about I pay you in mana stones? It's clearly a joke, but Grandpa's deadpan delivery is terrifying. Pabilsa knows better. Since Daorden does not care about money, he asks what he actually wants in exchange. The request is specific. A custom cuirass crafted from that queen wolf ant carcass they hauled in. And Grandpa's not done yet. He's got one more demand. One subspace tool. Basically, a portable infinite inventory. Those do not come cheap. Pabilsa looks at him like he's crazy. Why would a top-tier legend like Daeordan need a basic chestplate and more storage when he's already walking around like a final boss? The old man finally drops the truth while gesturing to the kid sitting next to him. He's not gearing up for his next raid, he's shopping for a student. This dumbass will be the one using them. Thanks for the glowing recommendation, Gramps. Xeon's just trying to enjoy his drink while being used as a prop. Pabilsa's interest is officially piqued. He stares through his monocle, trying to figure out what the old warrior sees in this dusty brat. He realizes that for Daeordan to actually care about someone's survival, Xeon must be a useful child. That is high praise considering the company he is in. Pabilsa calls out for someone named Kaylee. The sound of boots clicking against the stone floor echoes through the chamber. Xeon and Daeordan both look toward the doorway. Xeon's internal dialogue is just one word. Wow. He's definitely seeing something he likes. A girl with short brown hair and a lot of attitude walks in and asks if he called her grandpa. Xeon is officially down bad. He thinks she is pretty, completely forgetting he's in a den of monsters. Pabilsa asks her if she still has that special subspace bracelet she made a while back. Kaylee explains the bracelet is gone, but she still has a gauntlet she's been keeping in storage. Give that gauntlet to the kid. Kaylee's jaw drops. Give away a prize masterpiece to a random nobody. Daeordan is impressed. To think that small brat actually became a rare enchanter class. He lets out a boisterous laugh. Being the granddaughter of Pabilsa certainly comes with some useful perks. Kaylee is sweating. Just being in the same room as Daeordan is giving her a panic attack. Pabilsa tells him to clear out and orders Kaylee to go craft a cuirass as well. Kaylee leads Xeon out, still looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. Daeordan and Pabilsa stay behind. Two old legends watching the next generation walk away. Xeon and Kaylee walk through the city streets. The architecture inside this shell is genuinely breathtaking. Kaylee can't hold it in anymore. She asks Xeon what his actual relationship is to that monster. Xeon explains he just met him randomly and has been basically kidnapped and dragged through the desert ever since. Kaylee screams in disbelief, "What? And you are still alive?" She could not wrap her head around anyone surviving that. Xeon notices the look on her face. Ah, this girl. I can see it now. Kaylee is having a literal PTSD flashback of Daeordan ripping monsters apart with his bare hands and cackling like a demon. She has some kind of PTSD. Yeah, no kidding, Xeon. Grandpa is not exactly known for his gentle touch. She warns him to watch out, calling Daeordan a literal monster in human skin. They finally arrive at her personal workshop. Time to see what an S-rank crafter can do. That is right, my workshop. She's back to being smug and confident. She tells him not to be too shocked since he's never seen anything like this before. Xeon is totally floored. His gear-obsessed brain is short-circuiting. The workshop is stuffed with masterpieces, weapons, armor, artifacts. It's like a museum for warriors. She shows off a gauntlet that's a harmony of steel starfish bones and adamantium. This is some serious endgame gear. It even has self-repair functions. Xeon is grinning like an idiot now. This is a massive upgrade. It's imbued with the fire element, and she explains it can become an unimaginable monster of an item depending on what is equipped. Xeon is hesitant. Can I really take something like this? He's actually feeling a bit guilty for getting it for free. Kaylee reminds him that Grandpa ordered it, so he better keep it. Also, once you put it on, there is no taking it off. The gauntlet begins to glow as Xeon reaches for it. They both grab onto the artifact. A massive surge of mana erupts from the contact point. Xeon screams as the item literally grafts itself onto his arm. That looks incredibly painful. Kaylee is still shouting that she does not want to give her precious child to a complete nobody like him. Xeon laughs through the pain, looking totally unhinged. Sorry to say, but this is mine now. Suddenly, a massive boom rocks the entire city. The ground itself is vibrating. Xeon asks if she wants it back, thinking she's trying to sabotage him. She cries that is not it. Kaylee's face is pale. This cry of Arxlon is, it is those bastards. Xeon is looking around, totally confused. Who are those bastards? He looks up at the shaking ceiling. Whatever's happening, it's big enough to scare a girl who lives on a giant turtle. Back in the main hall, Daeordan and Pabilsa are totally chill. Grandpa's just sitting there like he's waiting for a movie to start. Daeordan looks through his monocle with a bored expression. How persistent. Outside, a whole army of raiders is closing in. Scavengers. The peace was nice while it lasted, folks.